Have you ever heard about the World Rally Championship in Group B? It was something truly exciting that rocked the world of motorsports. Racing experts unanimously claim that it was the best thing ever to happen on the tracks. Are you ready to dive into the world of powerful engines, cutting-edge technology, and thrilling adventures? Let's refresh our memories together, back to the times when cars were not just vehicles, but works of art on wheels. Forget about the present for a moment because we are about to take a journey into the past to witness the engineering marvels that literally breathe fire and adrenaline. These cars were created for insane off-road racing, paving their way to the future of automotive engineering. Though 4 decades have passed since the last Group B rally, memories of that time still linger as a whirlwind of passion in the history of motorsports. Now is the perfect time to immerse ourselves in the atmosphere of those breathtaking competitions and recall some of the most significant cars that became legends of this golden age of racing. Get ready for an adrenaline-fueled blast from the past that left its mark on modern motorsports. Let's start with a brief historical overview. In the late 1970s, rallying became a rather dull affair. Outdated technical regulations prevented developers from creating increasingly powerful and technologically advanced cars. Engine power was limited to 250 horsepower for a long time. As the rules became stricter, some manufacturers decided to withdraw from rallying. In light of the situation, the International Automobile Federation decided to change the technical regulations. The decision was made to introduce a new class that would allow designers and engineers to fully unleash their potential in creating rally cars, provided they met homologation requirements. This meant no restrictions on engine power, torque, or boost level, and no limits on the types of materials that could be used. This formula led to the creation of a class of super powerful and extremely lightweight racing cars with an incredibly high power-to-weight ratio. The minimum weight required for a car to participate in Group B was only a ton, leading to the production of not very sturdy and not very safe racing cars. In the early days of Group B racing, cars at around 250 to 300 horsepower, but upgraded machines demonstrated 400 to 600 horsepower, with many of these figures likely being understated. The golden era of rallying had begun in 1982 and ended just 4 years later. Despite its short duration, the Group B era is still considered one of the most significant and legendary periods in the history of motorsports. What exactly were the competitions like? Group B races took place on narrow tracks with both hard and gravel surfaces, known for their high complexity. Significant elevation changes and rugged terrain where crowds of spectators constantly gathered. The cars driven by the bravest racers on the planet were practically unlimited in their capabilities. In the regulations of rally racing, Group B officially started in 1983, and the first car created according to the latest technical regulations was the Lancia 037. It was developed based on the Lancia Beta Monte Carlo, but the entire car was completely reworked both inside and out. The Lancia 037 was designed exclusively for dominating the world of rallying. The car turned out to be quite revolutionary, consisting of a space frame covered with composite blocks. The centrally located 345 horsepower, 2-liter compressor engine and rear-wheel drive provided the car with impressive balance and harmony. The mid-engine layout ensured perfect weight distribution, and the engine delivered torque almost throughout the entire RPM range. Weighing only 1.1 tons, it had incredible dynamics for its time, especially considering its power. The Lancia team secured their first victory in 1983 at the Monte Carlo Rally. However, in the face of increasing power, the rear-wheel drive setup prevented the Italian team from competing on equal terms with the beasts like the Audi Quattro, which excelled in every turn of the track. Despite its rear-wheel drive layout quickly losing dominance in the group to Audi, which rapidly became the defining force, the Lancia 037 remained competitive until the end of this era, thanks to several modifications to the car. Next, my video will be about other legendary cars that participated in these competitions. The idea of all-wheel drive sedans and sport coupes, which has become commonplace in our time, puzzled many in the early 80s. But not everyone. After one of the Audi engineers took a ride off-road in the Volkswagen Iltis, the idea of creating an all-wheel drive rally car came to him. Despite doubts, pragmatic leaders at Audi succumbed to the pressure from the engineers. The results appeared almost immediately. In the 1980, the Audi Quattro, piloted by Hannu Mikkola, managed to outpace its competitors by 9 minutes in the standings. Audi continued to develop its lineup of Quattro all-wheel drive cars, and their car was significantly different from Lancia's. The Quattro featured all-wheel drive, front-engine placement of the 5-cylinder turbocharged engine, and a monocoque steel body instead of a tubular space frame. These differences set them apart from their competitors. Audi had some drawbacks, such as poor weight distribution due to the overloaded front of the car, terrible low-end engine torque, and a weight of 1,200 kilograms. Nevertheless, despite this, the all-wheel drive system nullified these shortcomings. While the world's eyes were focused on the exotic Lancia and Audi racing machines, competitors were not idle. They diligently studied the mistakes and successes of their elder counterparts, carefully fine-tuning their racing cars for rally participation. In 1982, French car manufacturers introduced their new creation, the Peugeot 205 T16. If compared to the regular version, only a few differences could be seen, such as headlights and door handles. Peugeot, inspired by Lancia's car, opted for its frame and power unit layout, borrowing all-wheel drive from Audi. The 1.8-liter turbocharged engine delivered a decent 340 horsepower. Despite the car's lightweight and all-wheel drive, the team could not achieve great success. However, in 1985, a real breakthrough occurred with the introduction of the Peugeot 205 T16 Evolution 2. Unlike its predecessor, the new car became lighter and its body gained increased stiffness. The new turbocharged engine produced 450 horsepower, and the body kit freed the car from any ties to a regular vehicle. Over 3 years of rally participation, the Peugeot 205 T16 became a 16-time winner of individual stages, bringing the team 2 victories in the overall standings and in the team competition. Of course, nowadays a 600 horsepower car doesn't surprise anyone. However, in the past, when modern electronics were absent, pilots needed special skills and self-control. They had to skillfully handle the steering wheel and the accelerator pedal while dealing with high speeds and narrow corridors full of adrenaline-fueled fans. A terrible accident occurred in 1985 during one of the racing events. Attilio Bagetta died in his Lancia car, and the following year, another tragic incident took place. During the Portugal Rally, a Ford RS200 team car at high speed crashed into spectators. 3 people died in the accident and dozens were injured. May of that same year marked a black day for Lancia in motorsports. On the mountainous section of the Corsica Rally, the leading car of the Lancia team with Henry Taivonen and Sergio Cresto on board couldn't stay on the road and fell into a ravine. The car collided several times with rocks and trees, resulting in an explosion. The crew couldn't escape from the car. Since the tragedy occurred in a location without witnesses, the investigation couldn't determine the reasons for the incident. Leaving only the car frame, it completely burned with the racers. Following these tragedies, Ford and Audi withdrew from the championship. The International Automobile Federation banned Group B racing at the end of 1986. However, in 2017, the World Rally Championship became full of intrigue again, thanks to a new technical regulation. Organizers decided to increase the speed of the cars and give them a more aggressive look reminiscent of Group B, which delights fans. So, what should a car be like for participation in modern rally races? The body is the only thing that connects rally cars with their production counterparts. Rules require the use of production bodies at least 12.7 feet long, so all manufacturers chose Class B hatchbacks. And if you have a Kia Rio collecting dust in your garage, it makes sense to consider a racing career. However, keep in mind that you'll need to put a lot of effort into modifications. For aerodynamics, the front overhang of the car can increase by 0.19 feet, and the diffuser can extend beyond the rear bumper by 0.16 feet. I recommend checking the presence of a diffuser on the rear first and then measuring it. The width of the car is limited to 6.2 feet, which is 1.8 feet more than in the previous generation of rally cars. Don't even bother with a tape measure, know your Kia's dimensions. The rear ring is also increased in width by 1.8 feet and can protrude 0.98 feet beyond the body. At the same time, the wing profile is strictly regulated. Advice: you'll need a lot of putty for the wing profile. The minimum weight of the car has been reduced. In a ready-to-drive state, it's up to 1.3 tons. Fully loaded with the pilot and navigator, it should not exceed 1.4 tons. So, leave the dashboard dog and the air freshener in the garage, and now I'm not talking about the navigator. Increasing the car's width contributes to the addition of side elements capable of absorbing impacts. The width also provides space for special deformable foam that fills the doors. Now it amounts to 25 gallons. Real men will envy such a stash from the wife. Nowadays, all manufacturers use special racing engines. Rally now features 1.6-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engines with direct fuel injection. Isn't it true that the dream of becoming a real rally driver burst very quickly? In 2017, the diameter of the gas or liquid flow restrictor was increased from 1.3 to 1.4 inches, raising the engine power from 310 to 380 horsepower. But it is believed that the real figures for a real car are 10 to 20 horsepower higher. The maximum boost pressure remained unchanged, 2.5 bar, so the maximum torque of the engines is about 450 Newton meters. The maximum crankshaft rotation speed is limited to 8,500 RPM. Label number 7, about the types of competitions. There are two main types of modern car races. The first is rallying on special tracks equipped for competitions. The second is races on ordinary roads that have their natural complexity. There are also subtypes of these competitions. For example, there is amateur rallying. This is a race on open road sections with additional stages where competitions take place. The main factor in amateur rallying is the time of section passage. The car's speed will be the main factor in this time. Club rallying is a competition on closed track sections where both production cars and modified ones can participate. Compact competitions involve racing on short distances with challenging uphill and downhill sections on various types of surfaces. Rally raid is prolonged racing with speed stages. Rallies go through several countries and motorcycles, ATVs, and trucks participate in the competition. Rally marathon is already transcontinental competitions for professionals and racing enthusiasts, where the goal is to cover sections in the minimum time. And now, I'll show you the loudest crash stories in rally competitions. Colin McRae, a historic figure in the world of car racing. He became the WRC champion and entered history thanks to the most famous series of rally video games. Fans called him Mr. Full Throttle. During the Corsica Rally in 2000, Colin attacked every turn at maximum speed. On one of the slopes, he miscalculated the maneuver, trying to take the shortest trajectory. The car went airborne and flew into the abyss. Fortunately, trees softened the impact. Although the car ended up overturned, the driver and navigator only suffered minor bruises. The next video is about an accident involving Peter Solberg, a legend of world rallying from Norway and WRC champion. During the 2000 rally in Finland, an incident occurred that almost cost him his life. After a turn with a jump, he lost control of the car and flew into an embankment near the track. The car at high speed flipped several times, hit a tree, and ended up on its roof near a lake. Solberg had to remain in the blocked cabin. He lost consciousness in the first few seconds. Spectators near the track rushed to help Petter, lifted the car, and assisted the driver in getting out. It turned out that the car pierced a tree next to Solberg's head, causing him a concussion. Just a few centimeters more, and we might have never seen the Subaru champion. Now, a video about the car crash involving François Delacour, a renowned rally driver from France, winner of WRC stages in 1993 and 1994. During the 2001 rally in Australia, François attacked alongside navigator Daniel Grattelope. On the 22nd kilometer, Delacour couldn't handle the amplitude of the skid, brushed the rear of the car against an embankment, and crashed into a tree. Several heavy branches pierced the car, causing significant damage and serious injuries to Grattelope. François was rescued by his teammate Colin McRae, who called for medical assistance. The navigator suffered a chest contusion and multiple rib fractures, leading to breathing difficulties. Thanks to prompt hospitalization, Delacour's life was saved, although the situation could have ended much worse if the tree had pierced the car differently or if medical help hadn't arrived in time. Another rally legend was the four-time WRC champion, Tommi Mäkinen. The Finnish pilot held numerous records. This video shows his crash. The year 2002 marked the end of Mäkinen's sports career. He replaced the then-champion Richard Burns in the Subaru team. Fate arranged for one of the most serious incidents in his career to happen this season. Mäkinen was speeding at the rally in Argentina when he encountered a bump. This crash became legendary, with some journalists claiming that McKinnon set an anti-record for the number of somersaults during a single incident. Although it was spectacular, the most important thing was that no one was hurt, even though McKinnon initially couldn't remember where he was. However, his memory returned, and in poorly connected Finnish English, he said it was one of the silliest crashes in his career because he distinctly remembered the turn, but for some reason, the car slid more than usual. The next video features another Finnish driver, Jari-Matti Latvala. Although he never became a champion, he has numerous victories in WRC stages, making him one of the best rally car drivers in the world. The crash at the 2009 rally in Portugal was simply dreadful, and there is no need for excessive dramatization to describe it. Jari-Matti hit an embankment, and the car flipped, going beyond the safety of the track. 17 rolls through its axis, numerous strong impacts, and finally, the car stopped at the bottom of the ravine. In similar accidents 20 years ago, pilots often died because fuel tanks and safety systems couldn't withstand such incidents. In this case, the crucial thing was that the crew survived despite numerous bruises and injuries. To conclude my video, I want to leave you with the thought that in the world of rally racing, every track becomes a canvas and every car is a brush in the hands of an adrenaline art artist. Here, asphalt gives way to endless off-road, and racers dance with speed like virtuosos to the music of adrenaline waves. Rallying is not just racing, it's a magical journey on the borders of car capabilities and racer skill. These races are not just competitions, they are truly a crazy and unique art of speed and skill.